So it's after midnight and I just got home from work. And let me just say one thing that especially when it's the middle of the night and you're walking home in the dark and you're taking shortcuts where there are like no lights and everything. The only thing scarier than feeling like there's something behind you and then turning around and seeing nothing is feeling like there's something behind you and then turning around and seeing something. It's like, oh shit! Ah! Ah! And then you realize, oh, it's just some guy on a skateboard and he gives you the thumbs up like, hey, big guy! And you're like, hey, buddy, who the fuck are you? Ah. Yeah. People at work tried to piss me off today because just before the shift started, just before we opened the doors to the restaurant, the sous chef, the second in command, he was like, hey, Nate, what time are we going home today? And, did I ever tell you why I hate being called Nate? I don't know if I did, but long story short, I just hate it. It's not my name. I just hate nicknames in general. My name's Nathan. Just call me Nathan. I hate that. The only thing I hate more than Nate is Nate Dogg. And for one thing, it's just too lazy, too common, and everybody uses it. So I fucking hate anybody who calls me Nate or Nate Dogg. I really do. Because it's just, anytime someone meets me, as soon as they learn my name is Nathan, they just decide, hey, Nate Dogg. And I'm like, go fuck yourself with a rubber spoon. And so anyways, I'm at work, and he's like, hey, Nate, what time are we going home today? And I'm like, how many you got on the books? And he says, that's irrelevant. And in the first place, that is not irrelevant. I mean, every single thing that happens, factors into every single other thing that happens. Because, if you want me to close at 10, you have to shut down the kitchen before 9. So, if we have two people, if we have two fucking reservations, then hell yeah, we can close at 7. But if we have 10 people, 10 is very doable. Hell, 9 is doable. If we have 40 or 50 people, no fucking way in hell I'm getting out before 11. That's just not happening. And so anyways, he's like, it's very relevant. And so anyways, I'm just like, I don't know, 11, and he says, I don't like that answer. And so I'm like, 10:30? He's like, getting closer. So I'm like, 10? He says, thank you. And I'm like, yes, chef. And then, but honestly, fuck you. I just hate bullshit like that. If you wanted like 10 o'clock for the answer, you should have just told me that instead of asking a question. Because, there's no such, if it's not a real question if you are only willing to accept one answer, okay? You ask me an honest question, I'm going to give you the most educated guess that I can. But if you wasted all of our time. We could have saved 42 seconds out of our day if you had just started with, hey Nate, I want us to get out of here at 10 o'clock today, okay? Then I'd have said yes, and I would have tried my best to do that. But if you don't ask me what time I'm going to get out if you know what answer you want, because that is not a question. That's just that's a demand, okay? And let me tell you something. There is no such thing as a polite demand. And that pisses me off so much because I grew up with shit like that, and I fucking hate it. Because, just because you phrase it as a question does not make it a question. It doesn't make it, there's no such thing as a polite demand, okay? If you are saying something knowing full well that you will only accept one answer, and that answer is yes, sir, then guess what? That's a fucking demand. I grew up on shit like that. Oh, hey, do you plan on cleaning your room anytime today? And if I even thought about saying no, just smacked across the face. Seriously, that's how I grew up. And so it's shit like that just really irritates me. If you're giving me a fucking order, then give me a fucking order, okay? Don't try to pretend that you're not holding your authority over me to get me to do something, okay? Because that's exactly what's happening. You have authority over me and you are using it. If you did not have that authority, I would not do a fucking thing you said, okay? That's just the situation that we're in, okay? Just give me the fucking order, alright? That's the life. That's how the world works. Don't pretend you're asking me a fucking question. Could you imagine if like people did that to try to pick someone up? God, how creepy would that fucking be? That you're like at a bar and a guy just walks up to a girl like, "Hey, so when are we going on that date on Tuesday?" And she's like, we're not going on a date on Tuesday." I don't like that answer. I'm calling the police. You can do whatever you want, just as long as you show up out Tuesday at 9 o'clock at the bistro. I mean, seriously, that's just because you're phrasing it as a question does not make it any less of a demand. And a demand, I mean, if you have authority over me, you have the right to make those demands. So just make them and I won't be upset. When you're trying to pretend that you're not making a demand and you're just a friend asking a question and just being all, buddy, that pisses me off. Just say it like it is, okay? Say what you fucking mean. So yeah, that's my thing. Also, there's gonna be like a life theory vlog thing, sort of, whatever, sometime this weekend. Not an actual vlog, but like an actual planned, like 9-minute discussion where I talk about something that's important to me. So yeah,